few of them involve a lot of travel to get each mission completed. You got to travel around through a lot of waterways. So I thought those would be kind of interesting to video. So I'll start working on them. I only managed to get one completed in the whole course of this year. Somebody found it. I guess my audio is not working. Can't hear me. My mic looks good. Nobody can hear me. Why can't nobody hear me? Alright, this is going to be a disaster. Let me go check this out. Nobody can hear me. Alright, let's go find out why we can't hear me. Hardware and sound. Oh, of course, because the hue's working. How about that, fellas? There we go. Now we've got audio. Welcome. Welcome to the bait shop. I have to repeat everything. I just plugged a new camera in because for the bait shop, we're going to talk about real maintenance. So I put a new camera in. I stole it off of Wheezy Mouse's system actually in the last couple of minutes here before the show. So when I plugged it in, it must have a built-in microphone because that's what was the mic. I don't even see a microphone on there. Oh well, we got her fixed. Thank you, Wheezy Mouse. I appreciate that, honey. All right. So, Buck's happy. He's all done with his missions. What are we going to do next? Well, what we're going to do next are these mastering missions. And they're kind of cool because I was looking down through a lot of them, and they take you to multiple places. So there's a lot of travel involved to get these things accomplished. And, you're looking for some of the bigger fish. So that's going to be kind of nice. Getting these done using this platform here for my next series of missions instead of it being the mission series Explorer. We did all the Explorer missions. We're going to do the mastering missions now. So I managed to get one of them done in the last year, and I wasn't working on it in any means. I just happened to do it, and that was the drum mission. So that you had to catch some pretty big drums, the red drum and the black drum, and that all the drums. And so I got that one done, but that's the only one I got done. So we have a lot of them to do, and I'm just going to walk them down the line, I guess. That's the only way I can see to do them. We'll just go down the line. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to be chasing black crappie, and they got to be a pound or better. So that's a trophy. So we're going to be chasing trophy black crappies, and we got to catch them on a tube jig, a number 1 jig head with rubber tube. And so I got some sticks with me there. I started on this mission already over at Emerald, and that's where we're gonna fish tonight on fishing with Buck. I thought that we'd start off with some of the lower levels since this happens to be one of the lakes in the very next mission I'm going to do. So we're going to jump over to Emerald Lake after the bait shop. And basically, I'm just going to fish for everything that's in there. So for that 2 hours, we can hang out. I'm going to hit Emerald, all the spots that I know. We're going to try to catch every type of fish that's in there. What's on Emerald? Emerald's got 12 different fish. And if you're doing the species to catch all the fish there's actually 23 different. There's only 12 different fish, but there's 23 different catches. So you got some commons, trophies, and unis in there, mixed in there. Some of them have unis, some of them don't. But so we're gonna go over there. I brought a couple of them. So with that, we'll talk about the poles that we're gonna take and all that kind of stuff at the start of Fishing with Buck at 8 o'clock. But tonight's show, I wanted to talk a little more about, because we have to do this all the time in Fishing Planet. When we're out there and we fish 7-8 day tour out there, we did a trip for 7 or 8 days. They hit us up for maintenance, and maintenance is, that's a big thing. You got to keep your sticks and your engines in top running order, or you're going to have low performance when you're out on the water. And that's not the time to have low performance and have issues. Is when you're out on the water, like Buck does with his videos. I should practice hooking all this stuff up way before 5 minutes before I go live. But no, I don't do that kind of stuff because I'm an idiot. But so when you're going out on the water, don't be an idiot. Get everything ready to go. All right, so we're going to talk about the real maintenance. What do you have to do every year? And it's something you should do every year. And actually, if you've had a rough trip out there, you should do it when you come back from your fishing trips, more than just once a year. So we're going to talk about the quick little things you can do to keep that in running order. And then we're also going to talk about tonight in in the game we have three different type of lines. We have the mono, and we have the fluorocarbon, and we have braid. And here comes my cat in here. He's going to decide to come in and talk to me for a while. Wrong timing. So tonight I thought I'd talk a little bit about, because braid's a little bit in itself uh, a different a different bear. But tonight I'm going to take on what is the mono versus fluoro, and I'm going to go over some of the good points of this, the good points of that, the bad points of this, the bad points of that, and we'll talk about these two type of fishing lines. And it's something that we use in real life too. So you know you kind of it's something you want to know about because it's important. And we'll go over that tonight. I got a little chart. We'll jump over to my OneNote. Buck, we can't hear you. Oh, I think I got it fixed now, Micah. Thanks to Easy Mouse. I wasn't paying attention to the chat line. All right, I'm back to there. I'm even there. We got everything good. All right, guys. So that let's jump over. We're gonna jump over back over live. There we are. And we don't have the game up, Buck. Why? So you gotta bring it up first. What happened to it? Did it crash on me? I guess it did. Oh, I had to shut it down to go change my. All right. There we go. It's coming. That's right. He went down because of the microphone issue. Now, that shouldn't have happened just because I got out of the game. It shouldn't have crashed. I thought I minimized that. All right. Well, guys, we're waiting for this thing to load up. All right. What we're going to do. Get that. Right. Close that out of there. All right. I got my reel. And the fishing line. Let's just go ahead and we're going to tuck the left. Let's mark that off. Let's just open it down at that. All right, that looks good. Covered that already. Okay, great. All right, we're gonna save the fishing line for later. All right, what we're gonna do. All right, hopefully this camera's gonna work right now. I'm gonna cut us over to. Aha. Work. All right. Good. There we are, guys. Let me get my notes out of the way here. We got a clean desk here. There we go. One basic fishing reel. So quick and dirty of this guy here. If you put full maintenance on it, you're gonna twist off your drag cap. Take that all the way off. Right, that'll come off. Come on. There we go. That'll leave a little stem up there. Now that's threaded. That's part of the things that we're gonna have to do a little maintenance on. Now once you have that drag cap off, the spool will lift right off the reel. Lift it right off the reel. Right? Now inside of here, you'll see there's a little hole in there. Boy, we ain't got much light on here, Buck. That's hard to really see that. But you can see there's a hole in there where everything goes through there. You want to make sure that there's no sand or grit down in there. So what I normally do is wash everything, all these parts off with warm water. Wash them all out with warm water. But now be careful because you might have there's a little washer in here above this sprocket here. You don't want to get that damaged or lost. All right. You wash all this out, all the parts of your reel out, Wash everything out of there. Get all the sand and grit out of there. Warm water. All right. Now, once that all dries, you've got all your parts there and everything's drying. Oh, okay. Fishing. Too loud. I'm hoping that's a little better. We'll turn the desktop down a little bit. All right, Weezy Mouse is keeping me in line. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. All right. Now, back to where we were at, fellas. Fuck can't keep lost like this because I have a hard time remembering where the hell I was. Now, once everything's dry, you can take gun solvent. That's what I use, and it works real well. And I spray everything in here with gun solvent, and that basically cleans everything up. It evaporates everything. It eats all your oils away, and then you can wipe everything off with a dry cloth. Then what you want to do after that is you want to put a drop of oil in all the holes you see in any inside of your reels, inside of anywhere. You put just one little drop of oil. You can use like now you want to use all reel approved products. Do not use WD-40 on your equipment, fellas. Do not use that. And then everywhere there's a little gear or a thread, you want to just put a little dab of grease. Like you don't have to go to real. I mean, you don't have to buy expensive oils. You know, you get some good white lithium grease. Put a dab of that on your threads and on your. And I use now. You don't want to use a Q-tip because that cotton, if you get it in the gears here, it tends to come off. So you end up with a little bit of cotton threads in there, and that can gum up your works and make it real messy. So, but you can use anything. Like sometimes I just use one of them little paintbrushes, the spongy paintbrushes. They're not even made out of paintbrush material. They're just a little sponge on a stick. I dab a little bit of that, and that works real well for applying grease to areas, and you can sponge it inside the teeth and stuff like that, and you don't get a big overload. All right, so we get it all greased up and oiled up, and we just basically put our gear back together there and replace your drag wheel. Now, there we are, and we're back in action. So you got everything ready to go, and that includes now you can take your handles apart here, and you take them apart and clean them up too. You know, they just wind backwards the other way, and you can unloosen them, especially if you have reels where you can make it right-handed or left-handed, either way. So that, you know, you just undo the rod, the bottom parts here, the little knobs. Little knob right here for if you wanted to switch this thing around from being a right-handed wheel where you're winding with your left hand to a left hand where you're winding with your right hand. You can do that with this. All right, put him back. Oh. All right, what was next? Oh, I know it. Let's go talk about. I can put my notes back here in front of me now. Let's talk about these lines. This filament. Mono versus fluoro. Fluorocarbon, monofilament lines. All right, let's see. We're gonna need to get me over here. Let's get me docs up there. Want the acer up. There we go. That's good. And so if I get pull this up, there, and I do the transition. Right, wind it up there, but I don't want any of my fishing poles down here. I want here. All right, here we go. Choose the right line, fellas. I took nylon versus fluorocarbon. All right, longevity. Now, nylon deteriorates in the UV light. Fluorocarbon not affected by UV. Therefore, fluorocarbon lasts longer. Now your water absorption. Nylon absorbs water and it weakens slightly. Okay? Fluorocarbon does not absorb the water, so fluorocarbon is stronger when it's wet. Now your density. Now, nylon is close to the density of water. Therefore, it floats easier. Okay? Now, fluorocarbon is about 60% denser, so it sinks. When you put fluorocarbon on, you don't want fluorocarbon on a leader line if you're fly fishing and you're trying to dry fly, because it's going to, it sinks. So you don't want to use fluorocarbon. So nylon can be made to float or sink in fishing, either way. This is going to sink no matter what. Now, in cold weather, your nylon becomes stiff. That's just no doubt about it. Fluorocarbon is unaffected by temperature changes, so it's good for ice fishing, things like that. All right, now knot strength. Both of these lines are about the same. Okay, moderate to high for either one of them. So it's a draw. It depends on the type of knot that you tie. All right. Now we got abrasion resistance. Nylon's moderate to low. Okay, and fluorocarbon's high. So fluorocarbon is much better if you're fishing in heavy cover, rocks, weed beds, heavy bass, things like that. They get around, because they're going to run around rocks. Anything they can do to get rid of that line. So better off with the fluorocarbon if you're fishing that type of line. Now price is a no-brainer there. Your nylon's low to moderate, and your fluorocarbon's high dollar. So it's more affordable to fish nylon. So that should have brought us right back to my book thing here. All right, so let's go back to book. Let's get up here. Let's do that. Is that right? There we are. We're good. So, fellas, that's a little deal on how to keep your reel clean. Little spill on there. Just a couple of quick notes on the difference between your mono and your fluoro. And now, as far as drag goes, guys, setting your drag. I'm going to talk about mono. Okay, that's our standard line. Most of us fishermen fish with. Your drag setting. The rule of thumb is to set your drag 1/3 of the line break point. So if you're fishing with 12-pound test, 1/3 of that would be 4 pounds. So your drag should be set to, it takes 4 pounds before that line will pull out. You should be able to tug 4 pounds of pressure. 3.99 shouldn't pull. When you hit 4 pounds of pressure, that drag should start coming out. That's a good rule of thumb. Now, I happen to know what 4 or 5 pounds feels like, so I know where my drag should be just from doing it for so long. So I know where, and it varies on, because every pole is different. I've got 8-pound poles, I've got 10-pound poles, I've got 20-pound poles, so it depends on your line again. But it should be about 1/3 of that. Now, of course, a lot of us bass fishermen, we pay no attention to that rule of thumb. If we're out yanking hogs, that being, you put some braided line on there, you set your drag way up, and you're fishing weeds and rocks and stump covers like that. So you're fishing, we're fishing with fairly decent sized lures. A lot of times we'll get them snagged on a log or something. You just put your feet against the boat and yank, and you'd be surprised how many strikes you get when that lure releases, because it flies through that water about 100 miles an hour, and a lot of fish will hit it right then. They'll hit that lure after a release from a snag like that. So depends on, if I'm finesse fishing or if I'm just going out there to yank and bank and I know I'm in heavy cover, tighten that drag up, put your feet against the side of the boat, go at it. Well, guys, we're going to end this week's show a little bit early. I pretty much covered all that. We got a lot to do at 8 o'clock. I want to get time. I got a couple more things to do in the inventory there. Get ready. We're going to go over to Emerald, like I said. We're going to fish tonight. We're going to go over there, just catch basically all the fish that are in there. We'll do a little bit. We'll even go after that trophy. We'll go after that trophy black crappie with a jig head with that tube bait. That's a different style of fish there. That crappie's very crappie. Most of the time we fish for them live, with small minnows, live bait with a float rod. So this going after them with a tube, it's a different bite. They hit it different. It's very subtle. It's a very you got to be patient with that. So we're gonna. I got a few trophy black crappies up there on this tube bait. So we'll have a little bit of fun with that. We'll go over my technique and what I use when I'm using this particular weapon setup with the tube. All right, guys. I hope this half hour you got something out of there. I hope you learned a little bit about your reel maintenance. You want to do that quite often, especially if you've been out in the beach type area or a sandy type area. You know, and you get your reels and everything all mucked up. Don't just put them away like that. I see a lot of guys, they just stick the whole reel in the water and whisk it around, you know, and boom, throw it back in the box, and that's good until the next trip. Don't be that guy. Be a guy that takes care of your weapons. Hey, just like in this game, we pay a lot of money for our weapons in this game. Well, you're going to pay a lot of money for your weapons in real life too, so take care of them. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for watching tonight. Remember, never ever give up the fight. We'll be back in a half an hour. We're going to fish quit buck. We're going to head up to Emerald Lake. That being said, take care. We'll see you later.